On the fifth day of travel across the Atlantic Ocean, we saw the gigantic buildings of New York. America was before us. But when we had been in New York for a week and had begun, as we thought, to understand America, we were suddenly and unexpectedly told that New York isn't America at all. We were told that New York is a bridge between Europe and America and that we were still just on the bridge. Then we went to Washington, being firmly convinced that the capital of the United States would undoubtedly be America. We spent a day there, and by evening we had fallen in love with that purely American city. However, that very evening we were told that on no account could Washington be considered America. We were told that it is the city of government clerks, while America is something completely different. Bewildered, we went to Hartford, a city in the state of Connecticut, where the great American writer Mark Twain spent his mature years. Much to our horror, the locals announced in unison that Hartford isn't exactly the real America either. They couldn't say for certain where the actual America is located. Some said that the real America is the southern states, while others maintained that it is the western ones. A few didn't say anything at all. They just pointed their fingers vaguely into space. Then we decided to act in an organized fashion, to travel the entire country by car, to cross it from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, and to return by another road along the Gulf of Mexico, reasoning that indeed somewhere we'd be sure to find America. We returned to New York, bought a Ford. Traveling in your own car is the cheapest way to travel in the United States. Insured it and ourselves, and one chilly November morning we set out from New York for America. The road. For 2 whole months we saw roads before us, white concrete, black asphalt, or gray macadam made from gravel soaked in tar. At first we were delighted by this majesty of roads, but then we got used to it and even got angry when sometimes, because of road work, we had to take a short detour on some bumpy little stretch of ancient potholed highway. The roads are one of the most remarkable phenomena of American life specifically, not just American technology. By December of last year, there were 1.5 million so-called highways in the United States. Wide roads upon which bus services run regularly, day and night. In the eastern part of the country, where automobile traffic is especially dense, 3-lane roads of reinforced concrete lined for thousands of miles with thick white stripes are common. Two lanes are for traffic, and the middle one is for passing. The closer you get to the city, the wider the road becomes. Its lanes run out from under the automobile's wheels, increasing in number with every minute like train tracks, which multiply tenfold upon approaching a large train station. This photograph shows the entry into the city of San Diego, California, Figure 1. That state is proud of its roads and never forgets to mention them in its advertising brochures. However, we found the exact same roads in the suburbs of more or less all large cities in America. Occasionally, we were delighted by the vistas that appeared unexpectedly, especially in the mountains or in national parks, Figure 2. Every turn in the road obediently opened up more vantage points on a beautiful view. Continuing on, the road led us from one vista to another. It demonstrated nature to the travelers with all the skill of an artist guiding visitors through an exhibition of his paintings. This kind of road has its own special designation, a scenic road, a picturesque road. Roads like this are laid out with a specific goal, to show nature to travelers, to show it so that they don't have to scramble around on the cliffs in search of a convenient observation point, so that they can get the entire required quantity of emotions without ever leaving their automobile. In the exact same way, without ever leaving his car, the traveler can get the necessary quantity of gasoline at the gas stations that line American highways by the thousands. The tank has been filled. The traveler can now go confidently on his way. However, the gentleman in the striped cap and leather bow tie doesn't let him go. The great American service begins. The man from the gas station lifts the car's hood and checks the oil and water levels. If they're low, he adds some. Then the air pressure in the tires gets checked. However, even with that, he doesn't consider his mission accomplished. He cleans the car windshield with a rag. If the glass is very dirty, it gets scrubbed with a special powder. Thus, all is in order. But now, softened up by service, the traveler himself doesn't want to leave. He thinks that the automobile door doesn't quite shut tight enough. Smiling benevolently, the gentleman pulls a tool out of his back pocket, and in 2 minutes, the door is fixed. Now the traveler can go, but he doesn't want to. He wants more service. A little bit more of that wonderful and, most importantly, free service. The traveler asks the easiest way to get to the nearest town. In answer, he receives an excellent map of the state on which the man from the gas station sketches out the car's route. There are names of hotels and touring cabins on the other side of the map. There's even a list of tourist attractions along the way. And all this comes free with the purchase of gasoline. The traveler abandons the hospitable station master with regret, comforted only by the thought that in 100 miles the gasoline will run out, and that the very minute it does, a new gas station will turn up on the road without fail, where an equally hospitable man in a striped cap and leather tie will meet him, figures 3 and 4. After every 1,000 miles, the traveler needs to change the oil in the motor and grease the car. That costs $1.50. A difficult moment. It seems like we just changed the oil so recently, says the traveler sadly. The next gentleman with a leather tie elevates the car on a special rig and suggests that the traveler take a walk around the town. In exactly an hour, the car is back on the ground, or rather on the asphalt. Now he can confidently drive another 1,000 miles. The foreigner who doesn't speak English can get on an American road with no qualms. He's under no risk of getting lost. A child, even someone deaf and dumb, could drive by himself on these roads. The roads are carefully numbered. The numbers come up so frequently that it's simply impossible to go the wrong way. Sometimes 2 roads merge into one for a time, then 2 numbers appear on the signpost, the number of the federal road on top and the number of the state road on bottom, figure 5. Sometimes 5 roads merge, or 7, or even 10, then the quantity of numbers grows higher, along with the signposts they're fastened to. There are a lot of different signs on the roads. They're placed low to the ground on the right-hand side so that they're always in the driver's field of vision. They are never abstract and don't require any guesswork. In America, you never come across a mysterious blue triangle in a red square, a sign whose meaning you can rack your brains over for hours trying to figure out. The arrow on the photograph indicates a bend in the road to the left, figure 6. It's equipped with little round pieces of glass that reflect the light from car headlights at night. That way, the sign lights up by itself. The large black letters on a yellow background, these are the most noticeable colors, warn slow. Road signs are constructed the same way, simply and clearly. School zone, stop, danger, narrow bridge, speed limit 15 miles per hour, or even dip in road, 300 feet. You can be certain that in exactly 300 feet there will be a dip. Actually, such signs appear just as rarely as do the dips themselves. Crossroads have signposts with thick wooden arrows indicating which way to go. The arrows show the names of cities and the number of miles to each. In the city of San Antonio, Texas, underneath the city streetlights, there are billboards that read, 40 traffic deaths for 1935 in San Antonio. Drive carefully. Figure 7. Sometimes these signs display a fairly dark humor. Back east, we saw this billboard on the road, quote, drive carefully. Cemetery after bend in road, end of quote. Apropos of cemeteries, this is the kind of cemetery you come across most frequently in America. It's an automobile cemetery. New cars replace the antique ones which have broken down for good, figure 8. This fast-moving construction, which looks so strange at first glance, is actually a truck with a trailer on which brand new automobiles straight from the factory have been placed, figure 9. One truck can move 3 or 4 cars at the same time. This costs less than transporting automobiles by train. On the whole, train travel in America is expensive. Going by bus costs half as much. At any hour of the day or night, at any time of year, in any weather, buses with sleeping berths are rushing madly through America. They run according to set schedule with a speed of 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. At night, when you see a massive, threatening passenger bus flying across the desert, you can't help but think of Bret Hart's post coaches driven by desperate mail carriers, figure 10. We would like to use this caption for this picture. This right here is America, figure 11. Truly, when you close your eyes and try to resurrect in your mind the country in which you spent 4 months, you imagine not Washington with its gardens, columns, and complete set of memorials, not New York with its skyscrapers, with its poverty and riches, not San Francisco with its steep streets and hanging bridges, not the mountains, the factories, or the canyons, but this intersection of 2 roads and a gas station against a background of wires and advertising billboards.